Welcome to the So Social Radio Show. I'm your host, Richard Martin, along with my amazing co-host,
cheri-Martin. We are the WCN Interactive Team, business growth, marketing, and social media consultants, helping you to
dream it, plan it, build it, and most importantly, successfully do it.
Yes, for growth, prosperity, and success. And each Wednesday at 12 noon on TalkNetworkRadio.com, we share tips and techniques to grow you and your business, plus demystify social media and marketing for you so you can have more fun.
And my favorite, more profits.
And today is one of my very favorite topics because it's going to be just you and me, baby. talking about my favorite subject, social media. But we're going to do a little twist on it. We have been really busy out there doing some workshops and consulting with some clients, and a lot of them have some questions about what they're doing, whether they're doing social media properly or not. And that's a trick question because you're going to do what resonates with you, but there are some common mistakes that we've realized that we've made in the past and that we like to share with our clients and within our the attendees at our workshop. So we're going to kind of have a discussion today about, common mistakes that small businesses make with social media marketing. But as we share them, we're also going to share an action step so that you can reverse that mistake and start having more success. That's our goal anyway.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Right.
But,
well, let's say hi and talk about the people that make it possible for us to be here.
For sure.
And then we'll come back onto that
For
side of it.
For sure.
I want to start out with Toastmasters, a world leader in communications and leadership development. Find out how you can improve your speaking and leadership skills. Visit toastmastersd84.org.
And businessacceleration.summit.com. This is a rapid growth business summit for social entrepreneurs to mastermind and grow their business while creating a deeper impact on their clients and community. Register at businessacceleration.summit.com for the next event, which is the end of next month, September 28th through the 30th. It is in Melbourne, Florida at the Crown Plaza Oceanfront. And again, you can get more information and register at businessacceleration.summit.com.
And everythingbrevard.com, a Brevard County, Florida community website. Keep up to date with everything that's happening in Brevard and get your business listing on everythingbrevard.com.
Also, Sheer Artisans Salon and Art Gallery. They are a full-service salon specializing in hair color, skincare, and makeup. Located in the shops of West Melbourne, Florida. That's at 1533 West New Haven Avenue. The salon also hosts a gallery of fine artwork from local artists. Contact Sheer Artisans at 321-729-8989. That's 321-729-8989. And you too can learn how you can be a social radio show guest, advertiser, sponsor, or partner by just visiting SoSocialRadioShow.com. There's some information there, and you can always give me a ring. That's Cheri at 321-446-2156. And do remember to give us a like there on Facebook at yes, at So Social Radio Show. We always have a top pinned post on the Facebook. Boy, we're just like blah, 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 blah. Should we start over?
Jeff wouldn't like that.
It's a top pin post there on our Facebook page. But if you have any questions for us at all during the show, make sure you just post them in the thread there of that top pinned post, and I am monitoring that during the show. But I do want to also give a shout out here before we start our fun conversation today. Richard, we have been actually writing for this online magazine since it launched at the beginning of this year, which was January 2017, and it is the Connect 10 magazine. It's an online magazine. It's actually it has so many great stories that really give you some ideas and information, and again, follow along all the stories from people that you really want to connect with. We have our article for the August issue. It is on LinkedIn, so we definitely invite you to go to the talknetworkradio.com website, and on the top navigation bar, there is a tab that says Connect 10. Click on that and you can view the most recent issue. Again, that's August of 2017, but you can also see all of the previous issues from this year, and we do have an article in each one of them. So we're really excited to be a part of this magazine, and we see it just really exploding here after this first year.
Yeah, and Jeff, he's listening in because he owns the station here and is running the control panel today. You do a great job, Jeff. I just want to say that and let everybody know that we so much appreciate what you gave us and what you're giving back to the community.
And it also just ties in with why we are doing our radio show and why we are writing for a magazine like that. Why do we do workshops? Why do we train and consult with businesses that want to grow their businesses? Because this is what we love to do. We love to share this knowledge so that you do have some tips and tools and techniques to continue growing.
It's our passion. It's what we love to do. We are trainers, coaches, and speakers, and we just love the heck out of it, and that's what we've dedicated what we are doing to, and that's what we love to do. But when we get on this and we're talking about social media and small businesses and all this kind of stuff, as Cheri said in her intro, we're going to talk about common mistakes small businesses make with social media marketing. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of social media pros out there, but there's really very few that absolutely do it the right way.
Well, when you look at the U.S., Cheri, yes, there's millions that do it the right way,
but there's a short line.
Definitely. And we all start off with, just trying to figure out how to work these sites. And it's all, kind of a practice that we make. And I think back about what really attracted me to social media. We've been doing online marketing in our business since 1998, starting with web design and expanding, into a niche market that kind of had a bubble burst around 2008. So we had to step back and really evaluate how we could best serve our clients and those small businesses that were seeking some marketing help. And at that time, I was actually teaching networking classes as a Business Network International director, BNI. And when I was on, visiting the different sites, I was on LinkedIn. I had a MySpace account for the business and such. But as these other sites, especially Facebook, came out and we started looking at them, it was like, it was really that link with LinkedIn when I got it. That light bulb came off. I thought, oh my gosh, this is like networking on steroids. We have so many opportunities to connect with people that we would not have ever had the advantage or, the pleasure of connecting with. And of course, it does take work, as you say, that 4-letter word. But it's fun. And that's why I like to say my hashtag is social is fun, because we need to make it fun so that we are building some great relationships and continually getting the word out about our business, as well as about how we can serve others.
Absolutely so. And social media isn't limited to your local community, your local sphere of people that you know. On that, it's literally worldwide. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to get out and you want to meet somebody, go up to one of their social media pages, whatever their dominant page is, and start engaging. Don't start telling, but start a conversation. Mm-hmm. Say hi.
Well, and it is something that every business needs to take a look at. Businesses can no longer ignore social media. It has to be a piece of their marketing. It has to be in their toolkit. I recently, when I'm always updating our statistics and such for workshops we're doing, I came across a statistic at statista.com. That's STATISTA.com. And it states that over 2.4 billion people are currently using social media. But according to their graph, by 2021, that's not very well, that's just a few short years, right? That number is expected to increase to over 3 billion people. So it is not going away. yes, we see sites come and go. We see sites, new sites constantly popping in. And that's some of the things we're going to share today about some mistakes that people make when they start tapping into social media for, their marketing. But there are 3 huge mistakes that I see so many people take, or make, I should say.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people jump on it, and like you were saying before, it's not well thought out. They just get on it to be on it, and they start meeting people and friends and family, and then next thing you know, they're trying to do business with it, which is a great progression. But when you cross the friends and family line and you start going into business social media, the world changes.
Right.
I mean, they're not only watching you, they will critique you.
So with that statement there, what I'm seeing is people don't really have a purpose. They don't have an exact purpose of why they're there. They just know they need to be there.
Yes. And that's where we were going to on this. You've got to have that reason. You got to have the purpose. You got to understand why people want to listen to you. What is it that you have to say? And who is it going to impact? What's the demographic of the people that are going to impact? And that's the important side of what they're. The reason is to get something done, created, or with some extra special purpose that goes on in the middle of this. And that's the basic. That's the root of where we start. We start out with. You've got to have your purpose. It's analogous to your why. Why? What's in it for you? Regardless of whether you're charging or you're fee-based, it doesn't make any difference. Why? Why are you going to get up every morning with so much passion like you do with social media, Cheri? Every day. Yes, folks, every day. She's there. And it's not that she's posting. She spends so much time talking to people out there, building relationships, having fun, teaching. All of these things are just amazing. And that's how Cheri has built a tribe over years.
So you really highly recommend then that someone actually sits down and just writes down what their purpose is so they'll have more clarity and why they're even there.
Exactly.
And this, again, we're talking marketing, for your business purposes. So then from the purpose, what I also see so many individuals not even thinking through with is they don't have any plan or plan of action. So that purpose then is going to help them to start developing a plan or a strategy.
Yeah, the purpose is going to guide and control your plan. So as you begin to draw out a diagram of what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be saying, who you want to interact with, where these people hang out that you can go meet them. I mean, face to face, online, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. We've got to build a relationship in order to formulate the plan of action that we want to do. And it doesn't matter if you want to sell vacations, you want to have a garage sale. How many garage sales are advertised online now? A ton of them on that. But those are the things that have to go through your mind.
Well, yeah, precisely. I mean, when you're building a strategy, one of the first things I always, mention to my clients is, when we need to really have an overall view of what your objective is, because that's how we start developing that strategy. And we have to consider all pieces of your marketing, perhaps, from putting out flyers and promoting your events, from maybe you're doing a radio advertisement, or perhaps you're doing a print article or print ad. All of that has to really be integrated and balanced within your social media. All those pieces have to work together. So when you're putting that strategy together, you have to focus on that within that plan of action. And then that plan of action, that third huge mistake that I see first, I see people not having a purpose. I see people not having a plan. And then that third one is having no clarity in what they're posting. And that's why I call that my 3 Ps, your purpose, your plan, and your post. how many people, I mean, I've done it. I want to say I don't do it like I used to, but I honestly do not just get up in the morning and start posting. I really have clarity in what I want to put out, whether it's for myself or a client. So you have to have that clarity in your message, because that message is what's going to lead you to your posting, which is then going to attract or resonate with those that you want to be seen by and be visible with. How are you going to get them to start seeing you if you aren't clear in your message? And that message, like I said, is your posts that you're putting out on social media.
Absolutely so. And, it's being true to yourself, and you have to take your message that you're putting out there and make sure it is congruent with everything you're doing. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, telephone calls, it doesn't matter. Face-to-face networking events, we have to be true, and in the beginning it's difficult because we're pulled this way and that way, and somebody offers this, and we can make more money over here today, but each one of these things is a potential distraction. You've got to stay singularly focused. I like to take it back to athletics: football, baseball, basketball, tiddlywinks. It doesn't matter. You have to stay focused on what your job is,
so true.
What you're standing for there, and be willing to take the bumps and bruises, and then keep going. Take the next step. Because in the end, the ones that do are the ones that win.
So as we mentioned, those 3 huge mistakes that we have witnessed and have seen a number of our clients have made is not having a purpose, not having a plan, and not being clear in their message so that their posts are not resonating with their ideal clients. So the action steps you need to take to have this put in order is you need to sit down and really write out a clear purpose. Know why you are using social media for your marketing. And then you need to sit down and when you start creating your strategy or your plan, you need to know what your objective is. What is it that you want to accomplish on these social media sites? That's going to help you to start creating that action plan. And that's going to lead to you then to creating posts with a much more clear message. So what is another thing, Richard, that you see many, many people do?
Oh, there's so many of them.
But one in particular that I know we always are faced with.
Let's deal with platforms first, okay? When you jump into platforms, each platform has its own purpose, its own tonality, its own attraction system for who wants to be on there. So when you're doing this, after you analyze your purpose, where can you go amongst all the Facebook, all the LinkedIn, all the Twitter, all the YouTube, all the other channels that are out there, and where is your audience? Where's your tribe?
Well, and that's the mistake that most of us do. We jump on all of the platforms, or at least a number of them, without having any clarity in why we're there. We see those squirrels, like I mentioned, there are a number of social media platforms out there, and there are always new ones popping up. So we tend to get a little distracted and think, oh my gosh, I got to be over there. I got to see what's going on. I got to get on this one. Got to see what's happening over there. And before you even start jumping on all those platforms, because that is going to almost be detrimental to the lack of success that you'll have, because you're not going to have time to learn them or take the time to really be posting clear messages and engaging, etc. So you really want to go into the sites and understand them, and also understand that your client may not be on all these sites. They may be on a few of them, but what one are they all on? As far as where you can definitely get more of a bang for your buck, so to speak, when you're out there and in front of all the people. So the action step you need to take when you're looking at all these different platforms is to master one. You need to understand that by mastering one, you're going to be carefully selecting that right social media platform that the majority of your clients are on, and it's going to help you to develop the skills that you need to take and making sure that you are being seen and you're not scrambling, and then you can build your plan of action around that specific site. Does that make sense?
No, it makes absolute sense in what you're saying there. That's the whole gist of the whole situation. I'm putting it together, and it's one of those huge mistakes, huge pits that you can stumble into, and once you're in there, it's really difficult to see your way out.
Well, and I always recommend to my clients that, Facebook is the one you really want to take a look at, because that is the largest social network site out there. And I do hear so many individuals say, but my target market are doctors. My target market are more professional, which is okay. But, as individuals, they're on that social media.
So, yes, they are.
So you can reach them. And we're going to share a little bit here about one mistake that a lot of us make, and here towards the end of our show today, but that we have to really consider in order to make sure we are reaching those specific people. Yes, there are sites, especially LinkedIn, where you can have more of a connection with more of the professional people in there. So again, you need to take a look at that. Maybe that is your one site you want to master first. It doesn't necessarily always have to be Facebook, but on Facebook, that is where the larger population of people are. So we definitely want to figure out how we can reach those individuals there on Facebook. Because, again, it is a huge, huge site. And if you're on it yourself, you might as well look at how you can tap into it for your business. Because I know some businesses that they don't use any other site. They're on them, but they really don't use them to market. They have mastered Facebook so well that they can reach their target market, and because they're very clear, again, in what their purpose is. They have a plan, a strategy there, and they know what their message is. So their posts are out there reaching their market. So you really need to make sure that you're not just jumping onto all of those social sites. Choose one to master first so that you're not being distracted and doing nothing. Because I've been there, folks. When all this first started, I was like, oh, I got to be there. I got to be there. I got to be there. And then all of a sudden, I had no clue what I was doing. I had to get clarity in it. So we've tried, we've made these mistakes. That's why I can share them with you today.
Yeah. What practice, or where can somebody go to determine where their audience might hang out the most? I mean, that's a difficult question. Then we get often asked that. The best thing to do and is to go to your competitors' social sites. You're not looking to try to steal people. Don't steal people. But you want to see how they're getting their engagement. What are they saying? In other words, go to school and learn from your competitors. It's no different than being in the retail business and people walk by other people's shops to see how they have everything laid out. What do they have on sale? What are they doing? What customers are coming in? It's intelligence research.
Yeah, I would say you are so spot on, Richard. And that's one of the things I always have my clients do when I'm sitting there training. I says, here's your homework this week. I want you to go and search like-minded industries, whether they're competitors or not, but they're individuals that do what you do. I want you to go on these social sites, and I want you to view them. I want you to see what they're doing. What do you like? What resonates with you? What didn't you like? How much engagement do they have? Because that's called market research.
Absolutely so.
And it is very helpful to you so you can, again, be clear in what you want to do. And we talk about these different, all these different social media platforms out there. Another mistake I see people make is that they think each social network is the same. Big mistake. They all have a different tonality. All of them do. And some of the top sites that we work with that we see businesses working on are Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Pinterest, of course, YouTube. Those are probably the top 6 different platforms that businesses are using today. And each of them have a different type of people on them, what they're focused on as far as the industries.
Absolutely. They have their own tribe. Pinterest is going to be different from LinkedIn. LinkedIn's going to be different from Instagram. Instagram's different from Facebook. They all have their unique sales proposition that they offer to people. Mm-hmm. So we go back to the point, where is your tribe hanging? And there's no easy answer to that one. It's trial and error. You have to go take a look. You have to spend some time on each of these sites. When I say times, it may be weeks.
Well, block out your education. And what you're doing is you're educating yourself on growing your business by having a better understanding of the different sites, understanding the language, how people are speaking, what type of content is commonly posted or is accepted. What's the benefit of each of these sites? So my business benefit, and what could get you in trouble by posting on one site versus another site. It's so valuable to you as far as finding out how to better market and grow your business, but most importantly, how better to reach those people that you want to serve.
Exactly. Because we all have our niche, and really we're best at serving our niche than we are trying to serve everybody on putting all of that out there. You want to go through the sites and go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
And tell them generally what each one is significant for?
Well, on Facebook, that is, as we said, it's the largest social network site. It's, for business to business as well as business to consumer, and nonprofits really benefit on Facebook. The type of content we all know that are posted on Facebook is, your images, your videos, action links. Make sure when you're putting a link on those posts, you have a call to action. These are things that you need to really, action steps you need to take when you're on a specific site and looking at how different they all are. How often one posts on Facebook, the frequency, it's going to vary for many people, but at least one time a day, 5 times a week. I mean,
let me reverse that question. What's too much?
Too much could be, well, now, I mean, if you start posting at least 3 or more times a day on your Facebook page, it's definitely too much. You want to make sure that you're posting at a time that your audience is on, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that here before the show ends today. So I want to get into too much of that. But again, you want to make sure that you are posting at least 5 times a day, and at least one time during those 5, each of those days. And it's going to depend whether you post Monday through Friday or if you're posting on the weekend, because it's going to depend on your business. Like real estate market, they should be posting on the weekend because that's when people are looking for homes.
Yes.
Things like that. So you have to know, again, who you're trying to reach when you're out there.
Absolutely so. Twitter, which is one of my favorites, you have 140 characters, but you can say a lot in 140 characters that's out there. Plus it's a fantastic site for influencers.
Oh, yes, definitely.
A lot of influencers that are out there just make it unbelievably interesting to see what's going on. And I'm not talking about the recent political stuff with it. I mean, most of your celebrities, most of your artists, most of your local folks that are influencers and do big things within the community and what they do, they're on social media, and they're on Twitter.
And as you said, it is a fast site, and it does take a little bit of time to learn that site as well. And
It moves quick.
and one of the things you can do if you want to just really start following influencers, you can go on Twitter and start following people that are, you look up to, that you respect within your industry. You don't even need to start posting, but you can start gathering information from them as well. That's a great.
Exactly. Do your research. Do your homework. Find out what's happening. Who are the people that are in your business, in your concentration, your focus? What are they doing? How many times a day are they posting? All sites on that. And just do your homework. Keep studying.
And, you're so spot on that. And with LinkedIn, this is where you have to understand the tonality of the site, because it is so different from Facebook. It's mostly business to business, and what you're doing on this site is establishing your expertise. And you really want to do some really great networking with individuals that you meet there on LinkedIn. Things that you can post on LinkedIn is, things about your business, about, what your products and services, not selling them, but just sharing maybe some testimonials or videos, even maybe some white papers, or a link to a video series or an audio or something along that line that people can then gain more knowledge from what you offer. Again, you don't want to be posting probably just 3 times a week is all you really need to be posting on LinkedIn, but you do need to make sure you're constantly monitoring them when we say this. So,
yeah, and monitoring means looking for people that are commenting back to you so you can address them and let people know that you are attentive and proactive.
Mm-hmm. And your Instagram and Pinterest are pretty much very similar. What you're posting on Pinterest and Instagram are videos and images. Instagram, maybe 3 times a day, they say, a lot of hashtags being used on Instagram. We talked about that on our hashtag show a couple of weeks ago. So definitely go into our podcast there on talknetworkradio.com and click on So Social Radio Show, and you can pull up the show we did on hashtags. We talked a lot about that, especially on Instagram. And of course, Pinterest is, they're saying 5 times a week, because, but I know myself, when I get on Pinterest, I tend to do a lot of pinning at one time. So, again, I'm building my boards. It's a virtual bulletin board is what Pinterest is.
Yeah, but that's another one of those sites like Twitter. It moves so fast. I mean, you can do it and walk back to get a drink of water, a cup of coffee, or a soda, and you can't find where you were.
And what's the most important thing, Richard, on Pinterest? Increasing
links back to your website.
Getting more visibility.
Increasing the visibility. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, great for search engine optimization.
Everybody that comes back from it it's amazing on that. And they will click.
And then there's YouTube.
Another Google-owned property. And the interesting thing about YouTube, YouTube is the fact that not only can you do amazing video productions up on YouTube, but after your YouTube is finished and run for the first time, Google indexes it. It converts your audio to text.
Wow.
Where it can now be searched independently. So it's really important to know your keywords for your industry and what resonates. So, all of these things connect together at some point in time.
Oh, they do. And the action step that you need to really take away from this is that you need to take time. Take time to learn the social media platforms so that you really understand the kind of content, which kind of content, I should say, performs best on each of these sites. As we said, each site has its own tonality, so remember that. And when we're talking about these sites, and we've mentioned it a couple times, is another mistake people make is they don't know who their target audience is. And you have to know your target audience if you want to have success on social media.
It's more than that. I mean, it's super critical on it. But if you've done any networking at all, you do have a hand up on what's there. You get to know some people. And once you know some people, then you can develop your own persona, your own personality, your own tonality to attract those people to you on any of your social sites. If it's video, you got to be true to yourself. If it's writing, you got to be true to yourself. It all happens together in one facet. Again, it takes time. And most of us, especially me, are impatient. We want it yesterday.
Well, what are some tips that someone can really use to determine who their ideal client is?
Well, the first tip is I would start with analyzing your posts that you've already got up there. Okay? See who is commenting on them, who's reacting. And then, you can find out who they are and go back and look at their pages, their profiles in that. You can do the same thing across the board. There are analytics with every one of these sites. So always look from a macro standpoint. When you make a post, when you make a video, when you do a pin, look at what it says. How many people were attracted to it? Okay? Mm-hmm. How many links did you get back to your website? Your website's a closing page. That's what your website's there for. Everything else, we can kind of look at it as search engine optimization. It's getting your name out there in front of people where people will click to come back. SEO is great.
Which is search engine optimization.
Mm-hmm. But it's useless if you can't get a click on it. You can be number one. Okay,
yeah.
But if they won't click on what you're saying, you can use all these guru type things up there to get to the top. But if nobody's clicking on it, it's a waste. So you have to know your audience and what they want.
Yeah, and so what I'm hearing is that the action step you need to take is to really determine who your consumer or client is by, determining what your product or service serves, so who your product or service serves.
Absolutely.
So you need to know exactly what your product or service, what problems or challenges it solves.
Exactly. Let me go back to a grocery store example. In the area where we live, we have a nice medium high-end company that does groceries called Publix. Okay? At the other end of the spectrum, we have another well-respected company and everything, and it's called Walmart. They have great food, a lot of it the same on that. But it's two different clientele bases that go in there. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes we all go into each one of them, okay? But for the most part, their business comes from a set base of people. And you have to look at that analogy and say, okay, I have my set base of people that Richard is going to attract. Cheri has her own, and you have your own in the audience. And you've got to know these folks. It's your life and death on internet, on social media, is determined on you being able to express what you have to say to the people that appreciate your tonality and want to hear what you say. Now, that doesn't happen overnight because not everybody hear you every day, every moment, every second. So you have to be persistent and consistent in what you're doing.
So much so. So in order to make sure you are definitely reaching those that you want to attract, you have to be so clear in who you serve so that you can serve more of those.
Absolutely. Do not, under any circumstance, regardless of the site, ignore your tribe, your people. Do not do it.
That's another big mistake I see and I hear is ignoring your followers, your connections, your fans. Yeah.
Yeah. We all know what a funnel looks like. We've all used a funnel at some time around the house, or put gas in the lawnmower through a funnel, or whatever. Okay,
it's that cone shape. Yes.
Yeah, on that. So we're so used to having this great big audience above us. A water that you're going to try to measure through a funnel to get into a bottle or something around the house.
So the big swirl here and trying to take it and it down that little hole. Down.
That's what we're used to. Okay, and marketing is not that way anymore.
It is
unfortunately. It's still a great system for some people, but now we have a few people, due to social media, we have a few people that are going through the narrow end of the funnel.
Our tribe are people that
tribe.
like us.
and now as they come through, they have this total expanse of social media to get to know us with.
So you're saying that funnel, which is the cone, has flipped.
Absolutely so. It's upside down. The narrow end's at top now.
Yeah.
You're pulling them through one at a time.
You have all these people that, we want to reach. And all it takes is us having a few people that really trust us and that we built relationships with to help us to expand that reach. And that is what makes social media so powerful. So we have to make sure that we're not ignoring that audience, that loyal followers and fans, because they're the ones that are going to help us by sharing, by communicating with us. So when we say don't make the mistake of ignoring them, what we're saying is the action step you need to take is to start responding to everyone that starts engaging with you, and you focus on building relationships, not selling to them. Because those relationships that you build are the one they're going to start now sharing your message for you. That's powerful.
No, that's when you have that team, that pack of supporters that go out and support you. But really, it's not just a one-on-one situation. It's really a tribe. And if the tribe gets together, everybody supports everybody else within the tribe.
Definitely. Most definitely.
So, Cheri, you bring somebody to me. I bring somebody to Jeff. Jeff brings somebody somewhere else. And you put it all together that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I hear so many people say, I'm on social media because I really want to make money, by growing my business and making money. And I see all these companies that are being successful, or at least saying they're successful, because of social media. And trust me, there are a number of them. We've had some great success in what we've done over the years, or we wouldn't be doing it,
Absolutely.
But it's constant. You can't just do one thing and then forget about it. You have to continue understanding or staying consistently on these platforms and consistently tweaking your message, tweaking your plan, your purpose, everything, because it's going to be changing, because these sites are changing. They're always evolving. And that's why I like to say what I do for my clients is I help you navigate through that ever-evolving maze of social media. This is what we need to stay focused on. And we need to understand that, yes, there are people that are successful, but on that flip side, so many are struggling. And it all starts because you're not connecting with your target audience online, and you have to do that before you can communicate. Connecting is what presents the possibility. Communicating is what opens up the opportunities.
Absolutely so. And, I want to get back to what you were saying there for just a second. When you're talking about attracting people and keeping everything new and fresh, you look at the automobile industry. Every year they come out with new models, new shapes, new colors, and we're right in the middle of every automotive company out there is selling on TV right now and radio and all these type of things. So we have to do the same thing. We have to refresh ourselves just like the major brands out there, not just the automobile industry. We're coming up on the holiday season. Guess what's going to be happening here with the clothes and all that stuff there, the holiday gifts. Right after Labor Day, September 2nd or 3rd, whenever it is, boom, it's solid for the next 4 months,
That's
guys.
right. In fact,
you got to be in that mix.
Starting next month, we start focusing on holiday marketing. Yes, it's September, but we have a lot of holidays coming up beginning in October all the way through into January. So what we want to make sure we understand is that, again, another mistake we see so many take is that people just rely on using these platforms for free. We have to understand that, as we said, social media has evolved. And you take Facebook, for instance. When we first got on a number of years ago and we were using it, we had fast success because not everybody was using it. And we're talking back in, around 2009. And it was a playground.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's Mark Zuckerberg's playground. It's a Facebook playground, and it's free. Playgrounds are free, But as they evolved and as they grew their business model, it now became where in order for us to have success on a number of these platforms, and especially Facebook, it's become an amusement park. And we had to pay to play. You have to play to go into amusement parks. So we have to understand that we cannot keep relying on just posting on social media. We have to take advantage of the advertising platforms on these sites.
Well, absolutely so up there. I mean, all the majors are now public as far as social media sites go. So they have to go up to Wall Street once a quarter, and they got to show their numbers. And their stock value is directly proportional to what their profits are for that quarter. And we have to be, as small business people, cognitive of the same thing. We have to measure and analyze and find out what's working. Don't be afraid to try something new.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
You know, on putting all that together. Because if you don't, you just might lose out more than you want to lose out on that whole thing. So explore paid social media. All the sites have them. All of that's happening.
That's the big action step that you have to take instead of just, relying on just posting and wondering why nobody's seeing your posts and nobody's clicking on the links that you're putting on there. You have to understand that there are tools and features within these platforms that are helping you as a business to be more successful. So your action step needs to be take advantage of social media advertising and learn that on the site that you've decided to master and that you believe your target market is on. By overcoming a lot of these mistakes, you will start seeing yourself getting different results. But there's one thing that we don't have a lot of time to talk about today, but I just want to make another mention of one more mistake that most people do on Facebook, Richard. That's they don't check their analytics.
Absolutely so. We were talking about, having to report to Wall Street every quarter. So at the end of every month, we in small businesses, as large corporations, every month they run a P&L. How much money did you bring in? How much money did you spend? How much money do you have left over? And is it bigger than last month?
All businesses
the sandbox
have to look
theory
at that,
is, it gets higher and higher. It's like the hourglass. It fills up.
Well, why is it, these analytics are on the back end of these websites or these social platforms, and on the internet, they're real time. I know Facebook on their analytics is like a 7-day period. So you go in there and you can look and see, the time of day that you put your posts and how big of a reach you got, et cetera, et cetera. But what is it, how often, for an action step, so we can leave them with this before we end our show today, how often should they be checking these analytics on their social sites?
I would say not less than weekly. And I would really say check them every couple of days. See what's happening. They have, and they come by daily. But you've got to find out what works, and that's the only place on any of the analytics that you can go find out. It shows you what's working and what's not working, what your tribe is responding to, what your tribe is not responding to, what's the best time of day, what's the best day of the week. It's that dirty 4-letter word, work again, that keeps coming up. But we have to do it. We have to take it.
So
we have to take action and get it done.
As I say, take action. So hopefully these steps today, these action steps are helping you to see more success. That's our desire for you, is that you start understanding that social is fun.
It is very much fun when it's done right, from all aspects, all angles of what's there. And it's even more fun than that if you're making money from it.
Amen to that. So if you have any questions, like us on Facebook, So Social Radio Show. Put your questions on our timeline. We'd love to hear from you. We're here because we enjoy sharing what we've learned by the mistakes we've made over the years. So everyone.
We're not only the masters in social media, we're also the masters in mistakes.
But they say,
because that's how we got there.
Fail forward. Exactly.
Fail forward.
So
exactly.
Thank you for listening, and everyone go out and make it a great social week. Bye-bye.